conversation around birthright citizenship is so intriguing to me because I've studied this historically, I've taught this in government classes, and its intended purpose was to protect African Americans and the children, the babies of African Americans from the status of slavery. And now we're talking about it because of non-citizens, because of illegal immigrants, because of undocumented immigrants. Since the court case that happened yesterday with Trump v. Casa, I feel like this conversation is really heating up. It is needed. This conversation is so needed. We truly need the Supreme Court to decide who this was truly intended for. 14th Amendment's original intent was to protect formerly enslaved African Americans, to protect their children, granting them citizenship. And today we see the context of the 14th Amendment being stretched way beyond its initial context. Seen under the Biden administration, they failed miserably at protecting our borders, allowing illegal immigration to persist, crossing ports of entry, overstaying their visas. And we see that some of these illegal immigrants are having children. And in a lot of cases, these illegal immigrants who are having children in the United States are able to benefit off of government assistance. Obviously, we see that the 14th Amendment is being exploited because there's this collision of illegal activity reaping the benefits from our Constitution that was meant to protect us. And this is what we're going to see the Supreme Court decide in months to come. Does the 14th Amendment guarantee legal citizenship to children of parents with illegal status? And let's not pretend that this conversation is foreign, because globally, most of the world either one, does not grant citizenship automatically to children born of undocumented parents, or two, they may grant citizenship depending on the legality of the parent within the country. There is a precedent court case that the United States Supreme Court usually goes by, but we are long overdue. This court case happened in 1898. Basically, this court case said all children born on U.S. soil, regardless of parental status, has U.S. citizenship. But here's the catch. Won Kim Ark's parents were legal residents of the United States. They were not undocumented. So obviously in 2025, we are dealing with a completely different reality, and it's time for us to put America first and change the incentive.
Correct. Everything she said was factually correct. The 14th Amendment was meant for former slaves and their children so that they would be considered United States citizens under the U.S. Constitution, not for whatever we have going on here. Because like she said, and it's true, and I looked it up, I thought it was only 5 countries that offered birthright citizenship. It's actually 30, with the U.S. being one of them. But majority of the world does not offer automatic birthright citizenship. Just because you have parents in a country who are there illegally in most of the world does not grant that child of those parents legality or citizenship within that country. So why should we be any different, especially when people are using this system to exploit it? It is being exploited. And I don't just necessarily mean by illegal immigrants, because there's a huge problem right now with birth tourism and the Chinese. And even legal immigrants do it. Again, people that come to visit. I personally know of a Mexican family who 20-some years ago, pregnant, came to the United States. I forget which state specifically, but they came knowing that they were pregnant, and they came on quote unquote vacation, had their child, right, which made them automatically an American citizen, and went back to living in Mexico. Now, this family later on came to the country illegally, lived there for many years, and when the daughter turned 21, she petitioned for them. And guess what happened? They got legal status. So they used the birth tourism loophole to come to the U.S., have a kid, so that they would be able to get that status in the United States eventually. They knew what they were doing, and they lived in the country illegally for many years before they were able to do that. When their daughter turned 21, they were able to go ahead and use her. That is what's called an anchor baby. That's what she was. An anchor baby. And again, it's not just the illegal immigrants that are coming across and having babies in the US and they're automatically considered citizens, which shouldn't be the case because people are abusing it. People are coming over, whether that be legal or illegal, and I'm going to go over an article with you about this Chinese birth tourism shit. But people are coming over the border, popping children as soon as possible. And then with the children now being American citizens, they want to claim, oh, well, why are you deporting me? I have an American child. Or, oh, you'll have the activists, oh, they're ripping families apart because the kid's an American and the mother's got to go back. As if they didn't know what they were doing. And there's an easy solution to that. Most of the time, when you are born in another country, you as a child are a citizen or are considered, I would hope is like that. I'm Dominican. I was born in DR, so it doesn't really apply to me. But, for example, my brother's also Dominican, obviously. But he's an American citizen. He has 3 children. But per the Dominican Constitution, his children are Dominican citizens too. All he has to do is take them to the consulate, declare them, and they're given their Dominican citizenship and passport. Now, my brother doesn't have to worry about deportation because my brother's an American citizen as well. My point is that when you were born abroad to parents of another country, their children are usually considered, or I want to say automatically considered, citizens of that country. So, yeah, they can be American citizens, but you can deport them back and they can be citizens of that country with their parents. They don't have to do it. They don't have to be just a citizen of America. But again, it's a manipulation tactic. It's a tactic to try and pull at your strings. Won't you think of the children? Yeah, I can think of the children. But you're using the children as pawns. And so are the parents. And like she said, they use them to get benefits that a lot of the times get denied to Americans. Or even if they don't get denied to Americans, they're just straining the system. They shouldn't even be here in the first place. But let's go over this article that I have real quick from the AP about birth tourism. California pair convicted in Chinese birth tourism scheme. A jury on Friday convicted a Southern California couple of running a business that helped pregnant Chinese women travel to the United States without revealing their intentions to give birth to babies who would automatically have American citizenship. Michael Liu and Phoebe Dong were found guilty on account conspiracy and 10 counts of money laundering in a federal court case in Los Angeles. The case against the pair went to trial 9 years after the federal authorities searched more than a dozen homes across Southern California in a crackdown on so-called birth tourism operators who authorities said encouraged pregnant women to lie on their visa paperwork and hide their pregnancies and helped the women travel to deliver their babies in the United States. Again, this is a huge thing. You have these Chinese women who are coming over, having their children to get them automatic citizenship, and then they go back to China, in the hopes that years later, when the child is old enough, they can come to America because they're American citizens and petition for them. That's not how the system is supposed to be used. That is not how it's supposed to be. So they do need to change the birthright citizenship or clarify it, per se, in the courts. Because this can't keep going on. This is not what it was meant to be. And there needs to be clarification because our system is being abused by people who don't even give a fuck about the country. I've already made videos on this. These people openly tell you they hate America, yet they're here having children, waving their flags from their foreign countries, but they don't want to go back. You love Mexico so much, you're waving the flag. Well, your children can be citizens of Mexico right with you, and you guys can get deported together. They shouldn't be considered American citizens. Because the only reason you're here, and again, I've made videos on this, I'm not making this up, is just to take resources from the American system and the American people. You don't actually give a crap about America. You don't want to assimilate. You want to keep your Mexican culture, which, fine by me. Everybody has their own culture, but you assimilate to the American culture first. And then the culture, your origin culture, comes second. But no, these people live like they're Mexicans in Mexico. A lot of them don't even learn English. They don't try to learn how to speak the language. And they insulate themselves because there's whole communities where they don't speak English. They just speak Spanish. So they don't even have to worry about learning the language. But God forbid you go to Mexico and you wanted to live in Mexico. The Mexican people would be crying and telling you need to learn Spanish because you need to respect the language of the people in that land. And I've seen it. I've seen it. They don't respect your fucking laws. They don't respect your culture. They don't respect your language. Granted, I know people are going to tell me, the U.S. doesn't have an official language. Yeah, it doesn't have an official language. But what is the widely accepted language? It's English. So I don't respect none of that shit, but if you go to their countries, they expect you to respect their laws, their customs, their language, their culture, and you can't complain. And you gotta learn how to speak, or else you're not welcome. But anyways, guys, those are just my thoughts. I want to know what your guys' thoughts in the comments are. Let me know what you think about this video. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.